Do you ever feel like sometimes you just don't fit in? You don't fit into this world. You're not meant to be here. You can't find your footing, your place. Maybe you feel like an outsider. You feel disconnected from people. You feel very alone. Maybe you feel like you've been abandoned here. Then there are a couple of energies in your soul contract that really feed this. And there's two I'm going to talk about. The first is the energy of the five. So there are 22 numbers in the soul contract system, and fives are one of those numbers. And I have them all over my charts in my birth name and my common name. My common name is just my name without my middle names. So I've got, as you can see, some strong 5-5 karma going on in my birth certificate name and in my commonly used name. So it's a double whammy. I think I've got 5 fives going on there. So the energy of 5 is very, very light, very ethereal, almost fairy-like. And the 5 energy is very soft, very intangible, very powerful, very psychic, but there's nothing tangible about them. So the other very strong number in the soul contract system is the 9s, and the 9s are like big dragon, serpent, energy, power. It's very physical, very visceral. People with 9s in their soul contract can do a lot of things. Like my brother is big, strong 9s in his talent, so he can just power through life and do massive things physically that are very challenging. But I've got 5s in my karma, so I'm a little bit more my energy is a little less tangibly strong. It's almost as if I can't quite land in this world. So the energy of the 5 is very fetus-like. It's very changing. It's very visionary. It's very soft. It's very sensitive. And the lovely thing about 5s is that they are here to use their voice and their speech as their strength. And they're here to stand up and assert themselves and put up boundaries. And they can often find this really, really challenging because they have to really ground themselves into the physical world. And they find it very hard to do. They often stay in their heads and they have all these big ideas, all these big thoughts. They can overthink a lot, but it's very hard for them to actually ground these ideas and channel them and make them manifest because their energy is so intangible. So if you feel like this, and you probably have 5 somewhere in your soul contract, then the other energy that's very similar to this is the 10-1. And the 10-1 is a very strong energy, almost like a channeled godlike energy that comes through you, where you're really here to be of service to humanity and society, and here to use your incredible gifts to hold a lot of stability and space for people. But the challenge of the 10-1s is that they can often feel like real outsiders in this world because they just don't feel like they fit in, because these energies are very spiritual, very high frequency. And they're here to do great, great things. And the 10-1s can sometimes be a little bit self-critical, a little bit perfectionist. It's a very Virgo energy. So it's all about really grounding the 5s and the 10-1s and finding your place in society and really pulling these ideas down from the ethereal and slotting yourself into this reality, which can feel super challenging. And the last number, which I didn't mention, but I talk about a lot, are the 8s. And I've got 8s in my spiritual karma. So I find them very challenging, and in my soul destiny and my common name. And the 8s can also feel like they don't fit in because of very high frequency energy in the soul contract. And they're here to put up boundaries. So the 8s are all about learning to assert themselves as well, just like the 5s. But they can find it very hard to ground physically. They're, again, often in their heads. They don't really like to come into their bodies. They can really struggle to feel deeper emotions. So if you have 8s in your soul contract, you're really here to create heaven on earth. It's really, really beautiful, and to ground down and to create community and friendships and to share your gifts with people and be able to relate to anyone. And it's a really lovely energy when you move into that positive aspect of the 8 energy. So if you feel like any of these things that I've spoken about, you are not alone. And there will be energies playing in your soul contract that will be feeding this. So it's all about having an awareness of them, seeing how all the energies in your soul contract interact, and then gaining back control and saying, well, I'm going to choose to change that, which is what you can do when you have awareness. So I hope that helps. And if you don't know what your chart is, I'll put the link down in the bio and you'll be able to see. And wishing you a beautiful day.